The betrayal, the morning alarm echoed through the corridors of Research Station Nexus 7. But Commander Alina Vasquez was already awake. She stood at the observation deck, watching the twin suns of the Kepler system rise over the horizon of the barren planet below. The station orbited in perfect synchronization, a testament to the engineering prowess of 6 different species working together. For 3 years, Nexus 7 had been humanity's pride in the galaxy, a joint research facility that housed the brightest minds from across known space. Alina took a sip of her coffee, real beans shipped from Earth at enormous cost, and reviewed the daily reports on her tablet. The research was progressing well. Dr. Marcus Chen's team had made another breakthrough in quantum field manipulation just yesterday. The Zephyrian crystalline beings were contributing their unique understanding of energy matrices, while the aquatic hydrons provided insights into fluid dynamics that had revolutionized their propulsion systems. Even the mysterious voidlings, beings of pure energy, had shared knowledge that pushed the boundaries of what they thought possible. The station housed 2,847 beings from 12 different species, but humans made up only 892 of that number. They were still the newcomers to the Galactic Council, having joined just 15 years ago after first contact. Alina often felt the weight of representing humanity among these ancient civilizations, some of whom had been exploring space for millennia before humans even discovered fire. Dr. Chen's voice crackled through the communication system, interrupting her thoughts. "Commander, we need you in the main laboratory immediately. We have a situation." Alina made her way through the station's central hub, past the hydroponics gardens where Verdanian plant beings tended to crops that fed the entire station. The artificial gravity hummed beneath her feet, another marvel of interspecies cooperation. She found Marcus in the quantum physics lab, his dark hair disheveled and his usually calm demeanor replaced by barely contained anxiety. "What's the problem, Marcus?" Alina asked, noting the concerned expressions of both human and alien researchers gathered around the main display screen. "Long-range sensors picked up something 12 hours ago," Marcus explained, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "At first, we thought it was just another asteroid field, but the pattern was too regular. We ran deeper scans. The display changed to show a star map with dozens of red dots moving in perfect formation toward their location." Alina felt her stomach drop as she recognized the configuration. Every being in the galaxy knew this pattern from their history lessons and nightmare scenarios. "Those are Devourer ships," whispered Dr. Zixora, a Zephyrian whose crystalline form had turned a deep purple with fear. "But that's impossible. The Devourers were destroyed in the last war over 2,000 years ago." Alina studied the readings more carefully. The ships were massive, each one easily the size of a small moon. They moved with mechanical precision, consuming everything in their path. The Devourers weren't just a species, they were a force of nature, ancient war machines, left behind by a civilization that had vanished long before any current galactic species had achieved spaceflight. "How long until they reach us?" Alina asked. "At their current speed, 18 days, Marcus replied. "But Commander, there's something else. We've been trying to contact the Galactic Council for hours. They're not responding to our emergency signals." Engineer Sarah Thompson looked up from her workstation, her young face pale with worry. "I've been monitoring all frequencies. The Council isn't just ignoring us. They're actively blocking our communications to other systems." Alina felt a chill that had nothing to do with the station's climate control. "Keep trying. There has to be an explanation." The explanation came 6 hours later, when Ambassador HFY, the Xeranian representative to the Galactic Council, appeared on their main communication screen. His usually composed reptilian features were twisted with what Alina had learned to recognize as shame in his species. Commander Vasquez HFY began, his voice heavy with sorrow. I am transmitting this message in violation of Council orders. You deserve to know the truth. Alina felt the blood drain from her face. What truth, Ambassador? The Galactic Council has been tracking the Devourer fleet for 3 weeks. An emergency session was called 2 days ago to determine the response. HFY's throat sacs pulsed with emotion. The vote was unanimous. Nexus 7 is to be abandoned. The laboratory fell silent, except for the hum of machinery. Alina found her voice first. Abandoned? What do you mean, abandoned? The Council has determined that the strategic value of the research station does not justify the military expenditure required to defend it. Evacuation ships are being prepared for all non-human personnel. HFY's eyes, large and compound like those of an insect, seemed to dim. Humans are considered expendable. Dr. Chen stepped forward, his face flushed with anger. Expendable. We're colleagues, friends. We've worked together for years. The Council's reasoning is that humans are the newest members of the galactic community. Your species lacks the accumulated knowledge and cultural contributions of the older races. The cost of evacuation would be better spent on more valuable individuals. Elena's training kicked in, suppressing her emotions behind a mask of professional calm. When do the evacuation ships arrive? 72 hours. All non-human personnel will be relocated to safer systems. The humans will remain to maintain essential station functions until the Devourers arrive. This will provide valuable time for the Council to strengthen defenses elsewhere. The communication cut out, leaving the mixed group of humans and aliens in stunned silence. Alina looked around at the faces of beings she had considered friends, colleagues, even family. The Zephyrians' crystal forms flickered with distress. The Hydrans' gill slits fluttered rapidly with agitation. Even the usually stoic voidlings seemed to pulse with darker energy. It was Dr. Zixara who spoke first. This is wrong. We cannot abandon our human friends. The Council's decision is final, replied Vertith, a voidling whose energy form shifted between blue and red. To disobey would mean exile from our species. Then we choose exile, declared Mercan, one of the Hydron researchers. Some things are more important than following orders. Alina felt a warmth in her chest, despite the circumstances. These beings, these friends, were willing to sacrifice everything for humanity. But she also knew she couldn't let them make that choice. No, she said firmly. You all have families, lives, entire civilizations depending on you. We won't let you throw that away for us. Over the next 3 days, Alina watched as evacuation ships arrived to collect the non-human personnel. Many of the aliens protested. Some even attempted to refuse evacuation, but Galactic Council law was absolute. The alien species had no choice but to comply with the evacuation order. The hardest goodbye was with Ambassador HFY, who had risked everything to warn them. As he prepared to board the transport ship, he pressed a small device into Elena's hand. This contains everything the Council knows about the Devourers, he whispered. Perhaps human ingenuity can find a solution we could not. Alina squeezed his scaled hand. Thank you for everything, old friend. Do not thank me yet. If you survive this, I will spend the rest of my life trying to atone for the Council's decision. As the last evacuation ship disappeared into the starfield, Alina stood once again at the observation deck. But now, instead of watching the sunrise, she was looking at the faces of her fellow humans. 892 men, women, and children who had been sentenced to death by the galaxy they had tried so hard to join. Captain James Rodriguez, the station's security chief, approached with a tablet full of data. "Commander, I've been reviewing our defensive capabilities. We have 12 small patrol craft, mining lasers, and basic shield generators. Against the Devourer fleet, we might last 15 minutes. Alina nodded, then turned to address the assembled humans. "I won't lie to you. We've been abandoned by the galaxy. The beings we called friends and allies have decided we're not worth saving. But you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe we are different from them." She paused, looking at the faces around her. Scientists, engineers, miners, teachers, children, all of them looking to her for hope. We're different because we don't give up. We're different because when someone tells us something is impossible, we find a way to make it possible. We're different because we don't just survive, we thrive. Elena's voice grew stronger. "The galaxy has written us off, but they don't know. Humans very well, do they?" A cheer went up from the crowd, and Alina felt something she hadn't expected. Pride. These people, her people, weren't giving up. They were going to fight. Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Commander, I've been studying the data Ambassador Kethfer provided. The Devourers are old, but they're not invincible. Their technology is based on dark matter manipulation, but our quantum field research might be able to interfere with their systems." Sarah Thompson nodded enthusiastically. "The mining equipment can be converted into weapons. We've got fusion reactors, particle beam systems, even the hydroponics arrays could be turned into chemical weapons." Alina smiled for the first time. "In days, then let's get to work. We've got 2 weeks to turn a research station into a fortress. And once we're done, we're going to show the galaxy what humans are really made of." As the group dispersed to begin their preparations, Alina sent a message toward Earth on the fastest communication array they had. The signal would take months to reach home, but she had to try. "This is Commander Alina Vasquez of Research Station. Nexus 7. We are under attack by hostile forces. The Galactic Council has abandoned us, but we will not abandon each other. If anyone receives this message, know that we fought as humans. We fought for each other." 14 days later, the first Devourer scouts appeared on their sensors. The battle for Nexus 7 was about to begin. Part 2. The Stand. The first Devourer scout ship emerged from hyperspace like a wound in reality itself. Alina watched from the command center as the massive vessel, easily 10 times the size of their entire station, began its slow approach. Its hull was a nightmare of organic curves and mechanical precision, covered in what looked like both armor plating and some kind of living tissue. "All stations, this is Commander Vasquez." Alina spoke into the station-wide communication system. "The enemy has arrived. You know what to do." The transformation of Nexus 7 over the past 2 weeks had been remarkable. What had once been a peaceful research station now bristled with improvised weapons and defensive systems. The mining laser arrays had been reconfigured into particle beam weapons. The cargo bay doors had been reinforced with additional shielding. Even the hydroponics labs had been converted into chemical weapon production facilities. Dr. Chen's voice crackled through the intercom from the quantum physics lab. "Commander, we're detecting massive energy fluctuations from the scout ship. It's scanning our defenses." "Let it scan," Alina replied. "Sarah, are the mining platforms in position?" Engineer Thompson's voice came from the converted mining control room. All 6 platforms are ready, Commander. We've armed them with everything we could find. Fusion charges, particle accelerators, even some of the old chemical rockets from the supply depot. Alina nodded grimly. The mining platforms were automated systems designed to extract resources from asteroids. Now they would serve as humanity's first line of defense. Remotely controlled weapons platforms that could operate in the vacuum of space. The Devourer scout ship continued its approach, its scans growing more intensive. Alina could feel the energy waves washing over the station, probing their defenses, analyzing their capabilities. What the enemy didn't know was that they were scanning a trap. "Marcus, how's our special project coming along?" Alina asked. Dr. Chen's excitement was audible even through the static. The quantum field generators are online and synchronized. We've created a resonance field around the entire station. If my calculations are correct, when the Devourers get close enough, we can disrupt their dark matter manipulation systems. Alina smiled. The quantum field research that had been their greatest scientific achievement was now their greatest weapon. The irony wasn't lost on her that the same technology designed to bring species together was now being used to tear apart an ancient enemy. "Commander," Captain Rodriguez reported from the tactical center. "I'm reading movement from the scout ship. It's launching smaller vessels." Alina activated the main viewing screen, and the sight that greeted her made her blood run cold. Dozens of smaller craft, each one still larger than their patrol ships, were pouring out of the Devourer vessel like insects from a hive. They moved with unnatural fluidity, their organic mechanical forms shifting and adapting as they approached. The station, all defensive positions, prepare to engage, Alina ordered. "Remember, these are just the scouts. The real fleet is still coming." The first wave of Devourer attack craft struck the outer perimeter of mining platforms. The ancient weapons fired streams of dark energy that seemed to tear holes in space itself. But the humans had learned from Ambassador Kethver's data. The mining platforms had been equipped with reflective shields that deflected the worst of the energy attacks. Sarah's voice came through the communication system, tight with concentration. "Platform 1 is taking heavy damage, but the armor is holding. Platform 2 is firing fusion charges." Alina watched as brilliant explosions lit up the space around the station. The human weapons were primitive compared to the Devourer technology, but they were effective. 2 of the attack craft were destroyed outright, their organic components unable to survive the nuclear fire. "Direct hit on Platform 3, Rodriguez reported. "We're losing it." Alina gritted her teeth as she watched one of their defensive platforms torn apart by dark energy beams. But the sacrifice wasn't in vain. The mining platforms had bought them time and valuable intelligence about the enemy's capabilities. "Marcus, now would be good time for that quantum field," Alina said. "Activating field generators now," came the reply. "All personnel, prepare for quantum field activation." The station seemed to vibrate as the quantum field generators came. Online, Alina felt a strange tingling sensation as the field washed over them, bending space and time around the station. The effect on the Devourer attack craft was immediate and dramatic. The organic mechanical vessels began to convulse as their dark matter manipulation systems fought against the quantum interference. Several of the smaller craft simply tore themselves apart as their own technology turned against them. The larger scout ship shuddered and began to retreat, its scans now chaotic and ineffective. "It's working," Dr. Chen shouted over the intercom. "The quantum field is disrupting their systems." They can't maintain coherent attacks while we're generating this interference. Alina allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The first test had been successful, but she knew this was just the beginning. "Commander," the communication officer called out, "I'm receiving a transmission from the scout ship. It's trying to communicate." Alina frowned. The Devourers had never been known to communicate with their enemies. "Put it through." The voice that came through the speakers was cold and mechanical, but there was something else underneath it. Curiosity. "Small flesh beings," the voice said. "Your technology is ... unexpected. We have not encountered quantum field manipulation in over 2 millennia. How do you possess such knowledge?" Alina made a decision that would have surprised her 2 weeks ago. She decided to respond. "We developed it through cooperation and ingenuity. Something your kind apparently can't understand." "Cooperation," the voice repeated, as if tasting the word. "Yes, we remember cooperation. It was the weakness that led to our Creator's destruction. We perfected their design by eliminating such flaws. And look where it got you," Alina shot back. "Wandering the galaxy for thousands of years, consuming everything in your path. That's not perfection, that's just hunger." The communication cut out abruptly, and the scout ship began to accelerate away from the station. Alina knew it was reporting back to the main fleet, but she also knew they had sent a message of their own. Over the next few hours, the humans used their respite to strengthen their defenses further. The quantum field generators were recalibrated to provide maximum interference. The remaining mining platforms were repositioned for better coverage. And, most importantly, Dr. Chen's team began work on their ultimate weapon. "Commander," Marcus called from the quantum lab, "I think I've figured out how to turn the entire station into a giant quantum disruptor. If we can channel all of our reactor power through the field generators, we might be able to create a cascade effect that could disable the entire Devourer fleet." Alina frowned. "What's the downside?" "The station would likely be destroyed in the process. The quantum cascade would tear apart our own systems as well as theirs." Alina nodded grimly. It was a suicide weapon. But it might be their only chance to stop the Devourers from continuing their path of destruction through the galaxy. "How long do you need?" "Give me 6 hours." Alina was about to respond when alarms began blaring throughout the station. The main viewing screen activated automatically, showing the space around them. What Alina saw made her heart stop. The main Devourer fleet had arrived. Hundreds of massive ships, each one a fusion of organic growth and mechanical precision, filled the space around the station. They moved in perfect formation, their dark energy weapons already charging. Alina realized that the entire galaxy's nightmares were arrayed against them. "All stations, this is Commander Vasquez," Alina announced, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "The enemy fleet has arrived. We are outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched, but we are not outfought. Today, we show the galaxy what humans are capable of. Today, we fight not just for our own lives, but for the future of every species in the galaxy." The Devourer fleet began its advance, and Alina prepared for the battle that would determine the fate of humanity's place in the galaxy as the first energy beams began to lance toward the station. Alina smiled. They had been abandoned by the galaxy, but they had not abandoned hope. And sometimes, hope was the most powerful weapon of all. The battle for Nexus 7 entered its final phase, and humanity stood ready to face the darkness with courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable bonds of fellowship that had sustained them. Through their greatest trial, the galaxy had written them off as expendable, but they were about to learn that humans were anything but expendable. They were the species that turned desperation into determination, abandonment into strength, and certain death into impossible victory. The real fight was just beginning.